Tonight on Meet Your Double Feature, a reclusive sorcerer investigates a string of supernatural robberies in Dr. Mordrid. Then, a superpowered vigilante tracks down the men that kidnapped his brother in Kraven the Hunter. It's a mysterious superhero double feature, and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Meet Your Double Feature, a double-blind movie review podcast. My name is Thomas, joined as always by my brother Frank. Frank, how are you?
Oh, I'm excited.
He's excited. He's always excited, because the show, pretty good.
Pretty exciting.
Pretty exciting, you could say. We have another back-to-back movie review in store for you tonight, starting with the blind recommendation that Frank gave me, which is Dr. Mordrid. And then after our break, we'll be looking at the movie I asked Frank to watch, 2024's Kraven the Hunter, both entries in our ongoing series talking about forgotten superhero films. And Frank, I'll say right now, I don't think we could have picked two more forgotten superhero films.
Oh, totally. I'll get into that with Kraven, but I want to hear about this. The good doctor, Dr. Mordrid.
The good Dr. Mordrid, not Doctor Strange, although you could be excused for thinking it's a Doctor Strange movie because he looks like Doctor Strange and acts like Doctor Strange and was clearly supposed to be Doctor Strange.
Oh, well, it literally, from what I read, that's the film began production as a Doctor Strange movie, and then partway through, they couldn't get the rights or realized they didn't have them in the first place and decided to just change the names of some characters around.
It is interesting. I'm going to get into a little bit of production background, just because it does help give context for what Dr. Mordrid ended up being. But before we get too far in, because we always start with this, Frank, what caused you to pick this one for me to watch, given that, like with all of our films on the show, neither of us has ever actually seen it before now?
I did watch a trailer for this one, which I don't always do, but I don't remember how I stumbled across it. But I saw the cast first, which is something we often will pull from in terms of recommendations. Like
definitely,
because we have the lead is Jeffrey Combs, who I think I mentioned last time is a big Star Trek guy, recurring Star Trek actor in a lot of the '90s shows. Opposite Brian Thompson, who is you and I would most well know as Shao Kahn from the '90s Mortal Kombat movie. Who he himself has also done a lot of recurring Star Trek characters.
Yeah.
So that's where I started, and then I watched the trailer, and I was like, oh, wow, this looks like hokey fun. And somewhere along the way, too, I saw that it was supposed to be a Doctor Strange movie, and then it just became its own like bootleg version of that, and that made it sound even more funny to me. So yeah, that's basically why I queued this one up for you, because I wanted to see if you also thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's an interesting film. I do think that the cast stands out. I did look up a lot about the movie's production after watching it, because by the time I was finished, I was like, okay, this is clearly some sort of very low budget, very small scope Doctor Strange ripoff. But how did that come to be? And I did read, Frank, what you mentioned, which is that a lot of people assume that the production studio, Full Moon, had the rights to Doctor Strange, but it took so long to get the movie going and out of pre-production that they lapsed, but they just continued anyway. However, people who worked on the movie will contest that this is not true and have even gone as far as to claim that it is not a ripoff of Doctor Strange at all.
Oh, interesting. Okay, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, my thought is, no, it is a Doctor Strange ripoff. Their explanation, which honestly feels like legalese to me, although it was in an interview 20 years later. Supposedly, the person behind Full Moon Studios, Charles Band, I think is the name, which Full Moon is like a kind of a notorious B-movie sci-fi fantasy film studio from the 80s and 90s. Some iteration is still around now, but they made films like Puppet Master and just all these low-budget, semi, horror movies or comedies or just weird stuff. The kind of thing that you would see as direct-to-video VHS movies, which is what Dr. Mordrid was as well. It just went straight to video. And supposedly, the owner, the producer for all these movies, Charles Band, was friends with both Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who are the creative leads at Marvel for the longest time. Between the two of them, they created the majority of the famous like Marvel superhero characters like Spider-Man, the X-Men. Basically everybody can be attributed to either Stan Lee or Jack Kirby directly. And at some point in the late 80s, Full Moon Studios hired Jack Kirby to help them develop scripts for like theatrical film pitches. And it was there that Kirby supposedly made a character called Dr. Mortalis, who later reappeared as Dr. Mordrid. Does that make sense?
Wait, so not Doctor Strange then?
But that's the funny thing. This is their proof. They're like, see, we didn't rip off Doctor Strange. We just hired one of the guys from Marvel to write a character for us, and he gave us knockoff Doctor Strange. And it's like, it's still a ripoff. It's still clearly the same thing. I think it was just that Jack Kirby was trying to get a film made and just worked with something that he already kind of had. Because I don't know, admittedly, I don't know who is credited with inventing Doctor Strange, like the Marvel character, if it was Kirby or Stan Lee or somebody else. But obviously there was some inspiration taken because the character design and description and the storytelling is all the same. The only thing that Full Moon is claiming is we never had the rights to Doctor Strange, thus it was not a ripoff. We just made Temu Doctor Strange on purpose.
It's not even a very strong argument against.
No.
Yeah.
I found the dumbest quote that was, I think, from the person credited as the screenwriter for Dr. Mordrid, who also obviously has a vested interest in claiming that this was not a ripoff because he wrote the film. And he was quoted as saying later on, like, I don't recall Doc Strange fighting dinosaur skeletons. And I was like, well, yeah, not all the time. I'm sure, like, he said it as if it was like a case closed kind of moment.
Yeah,
and it's
gotcha.
Like, that's pretty granular if you have to go that far to look for a difference.
Which, it's funny, too, because, like, pre-2008, MCU, like, most of these Marvel characters, like, nobody would have known them anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the DC pantheon of characters like Batman, Superman had a much stronger grip in pop culture than any of these Marvel characters would have at the time.
Probably so. I mean, I do know that there was like a 1978 licensed Doctor Strange film, but that one didn't perform very well and didn't lead anywhere. So I would say, even just from what I can remember, having been born before 2008, the Marvel people that anyone would have recognized at that time were Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Captain America. That was probably it.
Yeah, maybe. Or like the X-Men, I guess, maybe too.
Oh, yeah, the X-Men. Okay, I take it back. Probably Spider-Man and Wolverine would have been the ones that your average person would be like, I recognize them from comic books. That I know what that is. Neither of which even compared to like Superman, Batman, because those were so much more established. They came about first. And to your point, there were successful film and TV projects starting from much further back. So for Marvel's case, Doctor Strange was like a nothing deal anyway, which is why it's so funny. I think because now the character is known to people, it makes Dr. Mordrid a funnier little ripoff in retrospect. But at the time, nobody would have known. It's just like, whatever, Wizard Man. That's it.
Wizard Man, yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize that this was a studio known for making kind of like B movies too. That's interesting and fun.
It is interesting. Full Moon has a number, like I said, the Puppet Master is one of the most popular ones. I think they made Doll Man, which is actually on my list as like a potential pick for this because Doll Man's not even really a superhero, but he has this title structure of one. He's just a very small cop. He's like 6 inches tall.
6 inches tall?
Well, he gets shrunken. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Police, essentially. He's like...
Oh my goodness. That sounds so dumb. I love it.
Yeah, which is also, and this will be the last bit of context before I dig into the movie, one of the only other places that Dr. Mordrid appears as a character is that there was a comic book series written in the 2010s called Doll Man Kills the Full Moon Universe, where Doll Man, specifically the 6-inch tall policeman, fights a bunch of other characters from other Full Moon B movies. And Dr. Mordrid is just in there somewhere.
Oh, heck yes. Why is he killing? He's a bad cop? Why is he killing
I
them?
don't know. I have not seen Doll Man. We might have to select it for our Forgotten Superheroes theme at some point. But anyway, that's the legacy for who this character is.
I never would have expected him to show up anywhere else. The fact that he even has that kind of appearance in the 2010s is kind of crazy.
It is. It is. It shows like, I think movies like this, B movies, cult movies, like they leave an impact on certain kinds of people who then go on to become artists themselves and will just draw on those influences. It reminds me of how when we talked about Meteor Man a couple of episodes back, how the villains from that movie, which did not have a lasting impact, it popped up in like a Miles Morales Spider-Man comic. It's the same thing. Like somebody somewhere had a moment with these films and then they kind of held on to it as inspiration.
I mean, I get it. There's definitely really obscure stuff that you and I will just reference to each other sometimes and just be like, remember Spider Riders?
I was about to say Spider Riders. Like, if you had paused for even half a second, I was going to make a joke about Spider Riders, and that is very telling.
That's exactly who I would put in something. Like, if I was going to put an obscure character in there, I'd be like, I don't even remember any of the characters' names from that show, but put one of them in there.
Yeah, Doll Man kills the spiders from Spider Riders. It's our upcoming comic book.
Just like a really sad cover of one of them holding their spiders, like, no!
No, but the spiders were big. Remember? That's how they rode them.
Yeah, I do remember that. You're right.
He does remember that. We both remember that.
I couldn't tell you anything else about that show or like what they did, anything.
I mean, I'll tell you what they did. They rode spiders.
What else do you need to know? It sells itself.
That's it. Anyway, that's my preamble about Dr. Mordrid, because I think a lot of people who take a look at the cover are going to be like, what is this knockoff of a Marvel character? Why did this get made? And the answer is, it was just a cheap B movie that played on an existing idea because they technically had the work that Jack Kirby had done for what was Dr. Mortalis. The movie that he was trying to use to pitch it for never got picked up because that was more on the scale of like a theatrical release film. And then Charles Band from Full Moon was just making his little VHS B movies and was like, whatever. We'll use this for one of our films.
Great. Good for them. I
Good
love that for them.
So that's like, unfortunately, maybe the most interesting stuff about Dr. Mordrid is the context in which it was made. Because as a film, it, to me, like what I have written down here is barely a movie.
Oh, that's an actual note. Barely a movie.
That's a note that I wrote down, is barely a movie. And not because it's like an unintelligible mess. Like we've talked before about films that just get lost in editing or they didn't have the footage they wanted and don't come together at the end. But Dr. Mordrid, they just weren't even aiming high enough. They had almost nothing but dialogue, very little action, very little effects. What they did put on screen is fairly nice looking. And I think that was almost like the Full Moon MO. It was like, we're going to make really low budget movies that kind of pass as higher budget movies. And Dr. Mordrid kind of falls into this trap because when it starts, you're like, okay, this looks like a movie. And by the time it's over, you're like, they didn't have any money. They had $4 to make this movie.
You lied to me. That wasn't a movie at all.
It barely so. The other thing I wrote down was, this feels like someone took all of the downbeats of a story and just put them together and left out everything else. Because there's so many things that happen that would be nice little breathers in between the part of the movie where things happen, but you don't get any of that stuff. This is the Seinfeld of superhero movies. Like, maybe something happens on the way to the sanctum. No, nothing happens.
That is so damning. Does he not fight dinosaur skeleton bones? I mean, come on.
I mean, we could talk about dinosaur skeleton bones, but that would be skipping to the exciting third act conclusion. So we should probably wind it back to the beginning.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We're going to blow all the good parts at the beginning. The film opens with energetic orchestral music playing over an extremely slow pan of a quiet, dark room.
Good. You know what? I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you right there. Have you seen Begonia?
No. I have no culture. I have not seen any new movies.
We just watched it recently, and like that movie does such an interesting thing with the score, where it plays the most bombastic, like energetic, lively score over the most mundane scenes. And I'm like, this is really interesting, and I kind of don't get it. like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know really what exactly you're trying to evoke here, but it's quite a choice. So that just reminded me of that. But I'm sure this had less. I don't know. Maybe that was the same artistic intention here.
I mean, in Begonia, I imagine is trying to create a sense of like discord or friction when the movie begins. In Dr. Mordrid, I think it's we need to score this with the music we already have in our catalog because it doesn't fit. I mean, what you're seeing in this opening pan is he doesn't call it the Sanctum because that's what Doctor Strange's house is called, but it's clearly that same thing. It's where Dr. Mordrid lives, and it's full of like artifacts and old books and is very ornate and kind of dimly lit. It looks like a cool place to hang out and read a book, but it just has this kind of like jumpy Danny Elfman Batman music playing over it, and I was like, that doesn't go here. Like, that's not what you're showing me.
That sounds like The Shadow. The Shadow had very Danny Elfman-esque music too.
So that's our like immediate open. I will say too, Dr. Mordrid is like 75 minutes long. It's possibly the shortest movie we've covered on the show so far, and even at that length, it constantly feels like it's padding for time.
Oh, really? For a second, I thought you were about to say he's 75 years old, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun.
Actually, he might be older than that. They make a joke about him being like hundreds of years old.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Cool.
Let's dig into this.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So Dr. Mordrid is a character. His full name is Anton Mordrid. He is a sorcerer. Supreme? No, just a sorcerer.
Oh, okay.
Just a regular old sorcerer. I think he specifically says he's an alchemist. And the only context you have when the movie really begins, because our cold open is the bad guy. We do briefly see, after that opening pan, Shao Kahn shows up and is stealing like raw elements from like an armored truck. He like brainwashes some armored truck driver to hand over these materials, just kind of MacGuffin, like he needs like pure silver or something. And then we see that the guard is fully brainwashed because Shao Kahn kind of nods at him and he like shoots himself in the head. So it's immediately like, ooh, spooky bad guy, let's go check in on our hero. And then we check in on Mordrid and he's just hanging out in, I kid you not, this room I just described is in an apartment building.
Oh, okay. Like a big apartment building or
like a small apartment building.
Nice. Cool.
Which is so bizarre and I think was only done to create opportunities for him to talk to other people. Because at the beginning of the story, you see that he has his apartment, which is very suspicious. Like if you go in there, he has like 16 monitors up on the wall, like it's the Batcave. And he is, I kid you not, recording the broadcast TV news 24/7 onto VHS tapes and just putting them on his wall because I guess he's low-tech Batman.
Well, I mean, he's a preservationist, you know? That's right. Lost media right there. Like, where are those tapes, Dr. Mordrid? Where are those tapes?
Yeah. It's just funny to me because I think the implication is he's like surveilling the earth in case he needs to go stop a crime or something. But A, he never goes and stops any crimes. He only ever deals with like the main threat of the story. And also it's like, you're a magic man and you're just sitting here rewinding VHS tapes and going to the store and buying those like blank 8-hour tapes that everybody had. It's just so incongruous right off the bat in almost like an amusing way. But all this is in his apartment. And right outside the door is just like some old lady. And then down the door from her is like his love interest for the movie. And I'm like, why are you here? Why aren't you in a better place?
Like, what city are we in? Is this like New York?
We are in New York. That's a good question. The initial like villain sequence where he takes the silver from the armored truck happens in Rio, which we know because they had one shot of an establishing shot of that big statue in Rio. And they're like, well, that's it. There goes the budget for the movie. Now back to New York City.
Yeah, where Dominic Toretto is.
Dominic Toretto, yeah.
I like that you did Jason Statham saying Dominic Toretto specifically.
That's how everybody says it, right? We all saw, what is it, Furious 7, where they're retconning the end of Fast and Furious 3? And he's like, Dominic Toretto, you don't know me. This whole show is just me doing voices, and that's not who I am.
It is now. It is now.
It's just because Dr. Mordrid is so boring. Like, I was perfectly awake. I put this movie on at like 8 p.m. yesterday. And by the time it was over, I was bone tired. Like, it's not even that long, but it just is so slow moving and nothing happens. Like, we introduce that Dr. Mordrid lives in this apartment and is waiting for the return of the villain that we just saw. Like, supposedly, they might be brothers or just friends. Like, they had some connection in the past. And for the past 100+ years, Mordred's been waiting in New York City just in case the villain ever breaks out of, like, space jail and comes to take over the world. Which is immediately countered by just thinking, why don't you just go wait by the prison?
Wait, yeah, where is it, though? Is it in space? It's space jail?
There's only 2 locations in the whole movie, really. There's his apartment and this set that is essentially outer space jail. Like, it's not on Earth. They don't give it a name that I can recall, but at a couple of points, Mordrid will travel through a portal inside his apartment to go visit this, like, rundown jail, which he later says is where he put the bad guy 100 years ago. But then rather than watching over him in jail, he goes to Earth so that he can look for signs that maybe the bad guy has escaped.
He's got to watch the news, man. He's got to see what's going on.
I think that Mordrid is slacking on the job. He's quiet quitting his Sorcerer Supreme job. He's just like, they're like, don't you want to stay in this rundown ugly prison and make sure that everybody's safe? And he's like, no, I have to go try all the latest pizzas down there.
Pizzas.
Because what if he's trying to get at them through their pizzas?
It's like that one Canadian comedy you had me watch where, like, the lead detective was just going to, like, strip clubs and stuff because he's like, maybe the bad guy was here. Like, that's Dr. Mordrid.
That's basically what Mordrid is doing, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, they show you that he's the one who put Shao Kahn in prison. Which, by the way, Shao Kahn's name, I think, is Cabal, which sounds so similarly dumb that I'm just calling him Shao Kahn.
I think Cabal is a different Mortal Kombat character.
Oh, that's
also,
true.
I was going to say, I was confused. They might be brothers, because I'm looking at the cast here, and it says Jeffrey Combs, Dr. Mordrid, and then Brian Thompson, who is Shao Kahn. It says Brian Thompson, Dr. Mordrid. So I don't know if that's just a mistake, but
that is a mistake.
Listed.
He's not a doctor. He is.
Is Dr. Mordrid even a doctor? Does he have a PhD?
Great question. Dr. Mordrid is a, like, criminal psychiatrist on top of being Sorcerer Not Supreme. He occasionally gives lectures, essentially trying to convince regular humans, like, hey, you should probably be more considerate of, like, supernatural forces when you're trying to profile criminals, because some of these people who you think are insane, if they're operating under the logic of, like, Satanism or voodoo or something, you should at least know how those things work. It's very broad. It's only ever introduced so that he can meet his love interest character, Samantha Hunt is the character's name, because she works as a consultant for the police. So, like, every new plot thing is just to get to the next plot thing. It doesn't really feel like it's building any character for Mordrid.
I mean, we only got 75 minutes, man. There's a lot of...
We only got 75 minutes, and we only really shot for about 40 of them. I just, like... I'm trying to think of what other interesting stuff even takes place in the movie, because you could summarize it all so quickly. It's like, there's a case of recent robberies that have unexplained motives, where it seems like the armored truck guy at the beginning, people are, like, trusted employees in these high security places are helping someone steal valuable minerals. Mordrid immediately recognizes that this is the plan of Cabal, because he knows what his plan has been the whole time should he ever escape prison. So he's trying to figure out how to stop these robberies before he finds all the materials that he needs, or else he will do some villain plot of, like, summoning demons to Earth and taking it over. Along the way, he talks to Cabal, like, twice, and talks to Samantha Hunt, like, twice. And then I think, like, the entire second act of the film is that the police arrest Mordrid because they think he's committing the robberies. And there's, like, a 20-minute part where he's trying to convince Sam to let him out of prison so he can go save the world. And she's like, no. And he's like, come on. And then she's like, no. And then she does.
Wait a minute. Like, who is this guy? Like, he can do magic? How did he become magic?
Yeah. Let's talk powers. I like talking powers. That's my favorite part of this season. It never makes any sense. Mordrid and Cabal were born somewhere that is not Earth, but does not have a name, I guess. They're just from somewhere else. As kids, they both had, like, magical powers because they were alchemists. The bad guy child, Shao Kahn, always just wanted to take over the world, and Mordrid didn't. And so they became at odds. They fought. He put Shao Kahn in jail and then went to Earth in case Shao Kahn ever broke free because he knew he still wanted to take over the world. That's it. There's no other nuance, no other context. That's the whole backstory.
So they're from not Earth, but he wants to take over Earth specifically. Why does he not want to take over where he's from?
Because they didn't write what that is. There is no other place. Like, there's a place where the jail is. That's it.
It's the Phantom Zone? Is he in the Phantom Zone?
He might as well be in the Phantom Zone. I will say, this is a weird pull, but there's an establishing shot of the, like, space jail, which is this, like, floating structure just out in a void somewhere. But they always show it from really far back. And the shape of it and the colors, it looks like the Hyrule Castle stage from Super Smash Bros.
Like that's like off in the distance, that's what it looks like?
It looks like it's that shape. Because, I'm talking like the early Super Smash Bros. Games. There's the, like, Hyrule Castle stage. That's this, like, big map that's kind of just like a giant floating rock because you could fall off the bottom.
Yeah, of course.
It just looks like that. It looks like he's being kept in Hyrule Castle. But that place never gets a name. There's only one person there who's not Mordrid or the bad guy. They say at one point there were other, like, security guards, but by the time Mordrid goes there in the movie, they've all been killed because the bad guy did escape, which is just an excuse to only hire one actor to play the prison guard.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, some clear budget limitations.
Unbelievable budget limitations, which is why I say this is not a movie. Nothing happens. Like, there's no set pieces. There's no dialogue to speak of either. Like, we mentioned that both of these guys are Star Trek alums. If this was Star Trek level, where it was kind of just like a play that was really heavy on dialogue and, like, theming, that would be fine, but they didn't write a good script either. It's just 75 minutes of sleepy Mordrid time.
I guess I'm still wondering. I mean, it sounds like they maybe didn't give us a lot to really delve into it too much, but, like, they're just magic people from another world. Like, do the other people from that other world also know magic, or are they outliers in that case too? Like,
that would be a great question if they had answered it, because there are no other people. Like, at one point, this is a good example. In the bottom of the second act, Mordrid has been trying to convince Samantha Hunt to let him out of jail for like 20 minutes, and she won't do it. So he does, like, a magic thing so that he can show her images of his past, both to prove that he is a real sorcerer and to demonstrate the danger. And so he's trying to explain, like, there once were these two young boys who both had magical powers, and he's talking about himself and the villain. And you cut to these two young boys, like, just sitting in a room playing. And you would assume that this scene would be almost like a quick montage flashback, but he talks for maybe 30 plus seconds over just an uninterrupted, like, slow pan shot of the two kids on the ground. They had nothing. They had nothing to show, nothing to cut to. They didn't have anything to depict in the flashback, so by the time it's over, you've literally not learned a single scrap of new information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just restating, we're both magic, I good magic, he bad magic.
I mean, look, it's a second screen experience, people won't be confused. So it was really ahead of its time, if you think about it that way.
This movie felt akin to, like, do you ever go on, like, YouTube and just put on, like, relaxing fireplace video, and it's just 10 hours of, like, a crackling fireplace so you could pretend you're somewhere nice?
Instead of your apartment full of monitors.
Instead of your apartment full of monitors, yeah. Like, that's the level. And with these videos, they'll often have, like, a looping background image that, like, kind of looks like it has some movement to it. And maybe for, like, a few seconds, you'll look up at it and be like, what do they got going on in there? And then you look away because you're doing something else. That is as much as Mordrid would be useful for. You just put it on, and every now and again go, what's that doctor up to? And you go, oh, nothing. And then you go about your day.
Like, I'm gonna watch The Pit instead. He's a better doctor.
I'm gonna watch The Pit. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. In case I did not cover it much yet, Dr. Mordrid's powers are very vague. He, like Doctor Strange, has a magical amulet that he wears around his neck. That's the source of all of his power. But the only things we ever see him do are freeze people, like, temporarily so that he can run away from them. Or I think he summons, like, a fake gun to make someone think he has a gun. And that's about it.
That's so lame. It's like it's like you can do magic, and the best you can do is pretend to have a gun. Like,
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
that's something any normal person could have.
Exactly. He might as well do the thing where you put your hand in like your coat pocket to pretend you have a gun.
Yeah, yeah.
That's 90% of the movie. Like, there's no magic. The only thing that gets repeated is the like, I'm gonna freeze someone in place thing, because that's how he gets out of jail too. Is he convinces Sam Hunt to do that for him. He's like, oh, the magic amulet, by the way, you don't need to be skilled to use it. There's just a button, and if you press the button, it'll freeze someone in place.
So this guy doesn't even know any magic. He's a big phony.
Know anything. The only exception, and we're here now. This is the main event. After that exciting first 60 minutes, we're at the dinosaur skeletons now.
Yeah.
You better listen. You could pay for the whole seat, but you're only going to need the edge for this next part.
Cool.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to hype it up. So the final thing that Cabal needs is the Philosopher's Stone, which, yes, is the name of the first Harry Potter book.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to say anything.
It's the first Harry Potter book, at least the UK version. Philosopher's Stone. It has some historical context. I don't know what it is. I think it turns things into gold. Anyway, he knows, Mordrid knows, that it's at the Cosmopolitan Museum in New York City. And he knows that the bad guy's already physically there to steal it. And so he tells Sam Hunt, I can't get there in time, which he literally says is because of, quote, traffic. That's his big obstacle. I can't go stop the bad guy in person because it's New York City and there's traffic.
It's true.
And so, which is true, but so pathetic.
Yeah, it is extremely pathetic.
She even says, she's like, well, what are you going to do? Fly? And then he looks at her like, you don't have money for fly. We cut the fly.
Like,
so instead...
Shut up.
Instead, he just projects his astral form to the museum so that he's not physically there, but the actor's there, and he's like there as a spirit, essentially. And then the following interaction doesn't really make a lot of sense, because Shao Kahn is like, you can't stop me. You're not really here. And then Mordred says, I may not be here, but I can still cast a spell. And so he shoots a spell and like sends it flying through a wall. And I'm like, okay, why does it even matter if you're there then? That's the thing you'd be afraid of you doing anyway.
It's actually better that you're not there, because then he can't do anything back to you.
Exactly.
So this is a huge upgrade. Yeah.
This is such good metagaming from Mordred. He's like, oh, I can just send my invincible astral form and shoot lightning bolts. That's more than I did as a human man. And then I guess that somehow leads to Shao Kahn deciding, I'm going to use my magic to bring a dinosaur skeleton inside the museum to life. Not to harm Mordred, but to harm some security guards, because it'll make Mordred sad.
Not like distract him. It'll just upset him. It'll
he
lower
doesn't
his
have
morale.
a goal. There's no thought to any of this. It's not really like a clever sequence. He's just like, oh yeah, what if I killed that security guard? And then Mordred's solution is, what if I summon the other dino skeleton to fight your dino skeleton?
Oh, okay. All right. Now we're talking. Now there's two.
Now we're talking. And you're wondering how'd they do this on their $4 budget. Once again, second episode in a row, we have some very adorable stop motion animations.
Yeah, of course. Of course. It had to be.
Of course. You gotta do the stop motion. And then it's just, I'm getting tired even thinking about it because it's so boring. This happens, and then the bad guy, once again, is like, okay, cool, your dino beat my dino, but you still can't stop me. You're not really here. And then he goes to like finish this spell that will summon all of these demons. And for half a second, you see the demons he's about to summon. They're also stop motion. They're very cute. And then Mordred just goes like, you haven't won yet, and then uses the dino skeleton that he had from a second ago to impale the bad guy, and he kills him. And that's it. That's the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's
it's
the
that
end.
abrupt.
This is, wow.
It is
All right.
that abrupt. They're laughing about their dino skeletons fighting each other, and I guess the bad guy never stops to think that that is a concern to him. And then Mordred announces he's about to attack him, and the guy doesn't get out of the way, and just dies.
Well, I mean, that's kind of on him, you know.
It's kind of on him.
He gave him a fair warning. He let him know. He's like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
I'm going to get you. And then the guy's like, what's he going to do? Get me? And then he got caught. And that's just basically... yeah, Looney Tunes segment. That's all, idiots. So then that's the end of the threat. After that, Mordrid just leaves. Like, he goes back to his love interest girlfriend, and he gets called away by his superior, who is just a pair of floating eyeballs in space.
Just the eyeballs?
Just the eyeballs, just floating eyes.
Ew.
And he's just like, I gotta go now. I've given my identity away. I have to leave Earth. And she's like, well, what will I do without you? And he's like, well, you should watch over my cool apartment.
No, you're lying. He tells her to watch the monitors?
He tells her to watch over his bird.
His bird? Okay. Is he going to come back? Or she's like, do I just got to take care of this bird now? Like, do I have to pay your rent? Like, what's going on here?
Oh my God, I'm sorry, I forgot. So they make a point early on of being like, nobody here knows who the landlord is because they're never around. And then in the second act of the movie, Sam Hunt is like, why do you have my rent check sitting on your nightstand? And then he's like, oh, I'm the landlord of this building. That's how I get away with it being like a secret base. But it's like, okay, you have enough money to own a property, but you let random people live in it who could easily find out that you're a sorcerer?
New York's expensive, man.
It's just so lame. He's such a loser. Like,
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough money for a bat cave, even though he's been around for 200 years. He puts everything on VHS tapes, and then he can't make it through traffic to fight crime, so he just throws a dinosaur at a guy.
Which proved very effective, though. I mean,
extremely.
You didn't have to say the embarrassing part about how you can't get through traffic. You could have pretended, Dr. Mordrid, that this was like your plan, you know?
You could have been like, not to worry, this is literally zero downside. I'm just going to go over there as a Force Ghost.
I was going to say, yeah, it was starting to sound like the end of whatever Star Wars movie that was, where Luke's Force Ghost shows up at the end and does nothing.
That's it. I mean, you were asking, does she stay at his apartment forever, too? We jump ahead like 6 months, and she's sitting in the apartment alone talking to his pet crow, and she says out loud to him, like, man, I'd rather not be spending Christmas alone, but I guess I'm just going to drink eggnog and watch It's a Wonderful Life again. Which, I mean, fair. That's fair game. We do that all the time. But, and then Mordrid just comes back. It's just like the next scene. He just comes back, and he's like, I think the last line of the movie is he's trying to cheer her up because he's like, now why don't we drink some eggnog and watch our movie? Which means that Dr. Mordrid is a movie that ends with an invitation for the audience to go watch a better movie.
Which, also, this is like the third or fourth time that It's a Wonderful Life has like been mentioned or appeared in one of the movies we've watched on the show. It's just true. Like is constantly referenced in other movies. I was hoping he was going to come back at the end and just like take the rent checks off the table and then leave again.
Your rent is overdue. And then she's like, what? I thought, okay. And then he just goes and gets pizza at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I've told you everything. Like, normally we leave some stuff out because we can't tell you every single thing that happens or we don't want to spoil the ending. That's the whole movie. You've heard it. You've seen it. That's it.
Wow, that was really good. This
yeah,
is great.
Thrilling, right?
This feels like quite the rug pull type movie where it's just like, hey, guys, listen, it's 1992. You've never heard of Doctor Strange, but like, what if also instead Dr. Mordrid? Am I right?
And you're like, cool. What does he do? And it's like, nothing. Nothing at all.
It'd be cool if he had a gun, right? But he doesn't.
It'd be cool if he had a gun. He has a fake gun. He's your landlord. Does that endear you to him?
Good. All right, great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
10 out of 10, Dr. Mordrid, I guess. We'll get into scores later. Do you have any questions? Is there any? Do you feel like I painted the picture of Dr. Mordrid?
It just sounds very, like, still kind of funny, but just like very unfortunately short and pointless, and like ultimately I will get into it, but I kind of feel I have similar thoughts about the movie I watched, where during like while watching it, you're just kind of like, who is this for? Like, what do we even do? Like, why are we even pretending?
Nobody needs this in their life. Film is entertainment, but theoretically there's supposed to be some value, even if the value is entertainment. And this one just doesn't offer almost anything. Like, I'm trying to balance this out with a couple of like bright spots in the movie. The only things I could say are that the love interest character, Sam Hunt, is treated as just a person. And so often when we watch these older films, like the female lead is just treated as like a sex object or like a, you know, a damsel. And they just have a lot of like boring, tropey elements to that story. Where Sam Hunt is just like treated as just, you know, a smart, capable adult woman in the narrative. Like, you know what? That's a very low bar, but at least we didn't have that problem on top of everything else.
She sounds better than Dr. Mordrid. Just give her that amulet thing and her eggnog and just let her loose on New York City to stop crime or whatever.
Yeah, she'd probably do a better job. She does, amusingly, like they specify that the amulet doesn't hurt the person that you use it on if you freeze them in place. So that's how he's trying to convince her, like, oh, it's okay. I just need you to, like, they took it from me when I was arrested. I need you to go into the lab room and, like, use it to escape. Don't worry, you won't hurt anybody. But then as, like, a joke, the lab guy is drinking something when she activates it. And so in order to show that he's frozen, you just see the drink, like, pouring down his face while he's, like, still. And I was like, well, she might have killed that guy. He's going to drown by the time he comes back up.
Yeah, she got him. Still got to be careful with that amulet. Still got to be careful.
That's my, like, alternate ending version is where he just comes in. She's like, you said it wouldn't hurt anybody. And he's like, I mean, you got to use some common sense.
Sam, come on. Think about it. Does anybody even like regular Doctor Strange? Honestly, like...
Ooh, interesting. Interesting.
Is that anyone's favorite? Like, even now, like, I feel like even the MCU kind of realized, they're like, I feel like people like his sidekick Wong more than him. So, like,
he works as a plot device character in other people's stories. Just fine. I think all of the stuff he does in, like, Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, totally fine. As a person who has to sell you on a property himself, no, not at all.
Right? Like, I feel like on paper he should be interesting, just like superhero magic man. But, like, actually, no. Actually really lame and boring, honestly.
Yeah. Now imagine that, but more lame and boring.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you love Dr. Mordrid. I was worried
really
it was gonna be not
good, really rousing. Feel strongly about it. And on that high note, just really good stuff. We're going to move into our intermission now.
Good, great.
Good. I feel good. And then... That's it. See you in a minute. Okay. Taking a moment here during our intermission again this week to shout out another podcast out there that Frank and I are fans of and wanted to recommend to you all as well. If you're enjoying our lighthearted movie chats, then why not check out the No Context Cinema Club, a show where a culturally naive cinephobe attempts to rewrite Hollywood history one movie at a time. Each week, the imaginative Rob is challenged to create an alternative version of a famous film, armed only with the title and the often weaponized clues that his co-host Kev provides for him. Will Rob's work be a plot of cinematic genius, or simply descend into the deranged ramblings of a lunatic? Only one thing's for certain, he'll definitely try and force in a montage or two along the way. So again, if you're in the mood for more lighthearted movie chat, much like our own on Meet Your Double Feature, why not try out the No Context Cinema Club, available now on your podcast provider of choice. Frank and I are both big fans of No Context Cinema Club, so wanted to give a special shout out to Rob and Kev. Their show launched only a couple of months back, but they have already covered almost a dozen different movie pitches, and it's a whole ton of fun. If you enjoy the comedy side of what we do here on Meet Your Double Feature, you'll definitely get a lot out of No Context Cinema Club. So thanks again for going to check them out. Okay, back now from the other side of the break. Frank, following that thrilling breakdown of every single frame of Dr. Mordrid, we turn now to the film I asked you to cover for tonight's episode, the most recent film we've ever discussed on our main program, 2024's Kraven the Hunter. What was that? What was Kraven the Hunter?
What was? No, you tell me. You got
Oh, me
to
too.
tell
Oh,
me.
okay,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you. So,
Yeah.
as I recall, I was looking at the Sony. What do they call it? I think the official name is the Sony Spider-Man universe, which
The
is the Spider-Man
SSU.
universe. Yes, SSU without Spider-Man,
Yep.
which is kind of missing when one of your three letters isn't in it.
Uh-huh.
So they're just making standalone films with some loose connecting threads, mostly about Spider-Man villains. The most prolific is the Venom movies, which had a whole trilogy. And then there was like Morbius, which was like a meme because of how hard it flopped. And then even like Madam Web was kind of a meme before it came out, and then people forgot. Kraven came and went, and I swear it's not even a real film because
Dude.
I didn't hear anything about it. I didn't hear good or bad or funny or not funny. Like, if you told me that this whole movie was just a poster on a wall, I would believe it.
I 100% agree. I watched this movie and I still don't believe it exists. Like this might be the most forgotten of superhero movies for this season's premise. I forgot this movie like in real time as I was watching it.
Like when the credits hit, you're just like, is something starting? What's happening?
You're like, what? It's like Memento. I was like, is somebody chasing me? Like, how did I get here?
Your memory resets every time the scene changes. It's like, but who is that man?
What? It's so strange. And you said that you brought up the SSU. This is the last. This killed that whole thing. That's done now because of Kraven.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait,
It's over.
even though they're making another Spider-Man with that same Spider-Man, none of this is part of it. It's all dead.
Well, okay, I don't know. I mean, I really, really doubt. The only person I could see from these movies making an appearance would be Tom Hardy, maybe. But in terms of like Sony making their own series of Spider-Man movies, Kraven was like the last straw. They're like, we're done. We're not doing this
Interesting.
anymore. Yeah.
I wonder if that is just exhaustion from failure after failure and just not making any money, or if there was something particular about Kraven that just really pissed everybody off.
Well, I think it pissed Sony off that it was a horrible mom. This was the worst performing Sony / Marvel movie out of all of them, and it was like a big bomb. I don't have the exact numbers, but like I was reading that like the budget got inflated because, and part of the reason I think nobody saw this movie or it came and went without anyone noticing was because it was originally slated for like a January 2023 release, and then it got delayed, and then it got delayed a second time for even longer because of the strikes that were happening. So
Oh, okay.
it didn't actually wind up releasing until December 2024. So this was like tail end of 2024 this movie came out. I personally don't remember ever seeing any advertising for it when it was actually released. That's why I was like, I remember they were going to make a Kraven movie back in like 2023 or 2022 even, when they might have released the first trailer. But by the time the movie actually came out, it was like, I feel like nobody even knew that it existed.
It sounds like maybe that's just like a Hollywood budgeting thing. Like they had long missed the window where they had allocated money to promote the film. And by the time they could, shoot it into theaters, maybe they literally just dumped it and were like, whatever. I mean, it exists. It has to do something, but we're not going to spend any more money on it.
Yeah, like I'm almost surprised this one didn't get the like, what was it? Like there was like a Batgirl movie or something that like Warner Brothers just like made the movie and then just like wrote the whole thing off and never released it.
Oh, yeah. I think it was Batwoman, which is a version of Batman I've never even heard of, but it was completely finished. Effects were done. Post-production was done. And then they shelved it because they could make more money writing it off as like a tax thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the movie The Producers, where they make.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised. Like they might have been better off doing that to Kraven, honestly.
That is such a mean headline. Kraven the Hunter would have been better as a tax write-off.
Because it's like nobody saw it. It made no money, and it's really bad. It's just everything about it is such an anomaly, and like just watching it, I'm like, what's going on, Sony? Like, why are you making bad movies on purpose? I just don't understand how they could like, because even like you said, it was like, you had Morbius, Madam Web, this. I think some people kind of liked the Venom movies, but I think that's almost in spite of themselves because people like Tom Hardy, and he's like a fun performer.
I mean, they made 3 of them, so clearly Sony got enough of a return, and Venom's just a bankable enough character that it was worth doing again. I would say the downside for the rest is, I mean, even comic book fans have maybe passing knowledge of Morbius and Madam Web, like Kraven a little bit more so, but just none of these were marketable ideas to begin with. It was like bad on paper, bad in practice.
Absolutely, which is shocking because it's like if somebody came to you and was like, okay, we got to make these movies about other Spider-Man characters. We can't use Spider-Man. Like, I feel like you could have done better than what they did. Like, they're just...
Like me personally, I could have done better?
You or really anyone else off the street, probably.
I'd be like, okay, step 1, buy the rights to Dr. Mordrid.
Yes, like, just... Because, like, personally, I think of the bunch, I had never heard of Morbius before. I had never heard of Madam Web. I knew Kraven. Kraven was at least a character I knew as kind of like a goofy, like, B-tier level Spider-Man villain. But I mean, like, on paper, I kind of like the idea of a Kraven the Hunter movie, Like, I could see that being fun, theoretically.
Because I guess, maybe somebody does not, because they didn't see this awesome movie, they wouldn't know. Kraven's whole gimmick is he's like a big game hunter who's hunting for Spider-Man, because he's like the most dangerous prey. Like, that's his whole thing. He looks like a jungle man.
Yeah. And I think, like, honestly, his most popular iteration of the character before this and still after this is the is him in the 90s Spider-Man animated series. I think that's where I'm familiar with the character from, and like other people probably would have seen him there too, because I remember him showing up on that show a lot.
Yeah.
And even there, it's just like, I mean, it's not like Venom's here or something. It's just Kraven. This is like
he's like a filler episode guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, this is one where the villain's the B plot, and the like Spider-Man's just dealing with his life is the main story.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, all that being said, like, I think he's kind of a fun character. Like, there's definitely something you can do with him. And yeah, it's you described him correctly too. He's like a big game hunter. I think he's literally based off that like Most Dangerous Game book of like man hunting man. Like,
exactly.
And man, does he remind you of that a lot in this movie. It's like he's cutting like wrestling promos like throughout most of it. He's just like,
this Sunday, Spider-Man at the Fall Brawl.
Yeah, except it's not Spider-Man. It's like other random, like Rhino is here, who's another like backup villain for Spider-Man. It's like, it's not that serious. It's just Rhino.
Spider-Man, quick! Or I mean, at whatever pace feels good to you. The Rhino's here.
Take your time. Whatever. But even that is kind of funny to me too. Like, because like a lot of these superhero movies, they have that problem where it's like your main character's fighting just like an inverse version of themselves. There's no like anti-Kraven. It's like Kraven versus Rhino, and I'm like, okay, this is a solid mid-card matchup here.
It's a mid-card title feud. Yeah, they're going for the Intercontinental Belt. Also, I'm just picturing the anti-Kraven as like the small game hunter. It's just somebody like who's just like, I caught a cat, a house cat.
I was gonna say he's like catching bugs. He's just like, I got an ant. Yeah. Look at this little guy.
Bug catcher Kraven wants to battle.
He's got his shorts.
Okay, so Kraven is, he's not the hero. Like, they don't, try to make him out to be a good guy, right? He's just the POV character.
Oh, no. They do. They absolutely do.
He's a good Kraven.
Kraven. Yeah, he's a good Kraven. He's
a good little Kraven.
He's just a little guy. No, he's not. He's the They really thought they were doing something here. They were like, this is like going to be our like superhero Kraven. Because also, I didn't look up the character. I just didn't care. But like from what I remember, like
I just wanted to point out, we generally can find a way to be invested in even the most dumb or boring or incomplete films. Like, we were all in on The Shadow a couple weeks ago. We were all in on Inframan. It's very telling to me that both of the films tonight just completely zapped our interest in the form of art that we spend our whole lives talking about.
No, you know what? Hang on. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
Okay,
all right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm overshooting.
Yeah. No, you're still kind of right. Kraven is dumb and terrible and bad, but I didn't hate all of it because some of it was kind of funny to me.
Okay. Well, sorry. I'll let you keep going. I think there's a commonality between the two movies here.
Oh, there for sure is. Like, I think, like I was saying towards the end of yours, they both feel like, I mean, like I was saying, I'm just watching this movie and I'm like, this still took a lot of work. There were still a lot of people that put a lot of effort into this, and it's so bad. Like, everything about it is awful to the point where it seems like you're doing it on purpose. And like, I'm not 100% convinced that they weren't. Because even the movies you mentioned where it was like, Morbius got memed on really hard. And then Madam Web was like kind of diminishing returns on that. Like, it got kind of memed on. And then nobody even like thought about Kraven. He was just wasn't even worth the memes, It's truly just baffling to me. And I would love to like kind of know what the thought process was for all of these movies, all these SSU movies, because like they all look the same. They just have that like washed out, like bluish, grayish Sony look,
Oh yeah, which is admittedly that goes beyond those borders. I mean, even the trailer as of recording, the trailer for Brand New Day released recently, the new Spider-Man movie, and that oddly looks also quite ugly. So,
but even that has more vibrant colors than these movies do.
The foreground and the characters have color. Yeah, I guess in that case, it's just the background's always kind of washed out. But it does look like from the advertising, Kraven is devoid of color and personality just front to back.
Absolutely. I mean, they'll be like outside in the middle of the day and it's just like cloudy all the time. And I'm like, it's just like we can't have anything nice. Like, it's just...
we can't have anything nice. Yeah. That's kind of where, that's the theme today. It's just like, wow, I came here to have a nice time, and now look what you've done.
It's just so, like, I'll get off this in a second, but I'm just so confused as to why it's so consistent in terms of this, like, aesthetic that they have that's so unappealing and uninteresting and just, like, seems intentionally off-putting. It's crazy to me. But anyway... Kraven's a lot of that. Kraven is a lot of that. I'm jumping around a bit here, but like the VFX are also awful. Like I after watching the movie, I was doing some reading on it, and I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, but some reviewer was comparing the VFX to like the Scorpion King, like from The Mummy Returns.
That's harsh.
That's really harsh, but it kind of deserved in this case, like, because there's so much of it. There's so many, like, his whole thing is like, he's like a kind of Tarzan man. So there's a lot of scenes with like, big animals and stuff, and they just all look awful. Like, there's one scene where he's like wrestling like a leopard or something. And I'm like, this is embarrassing. I feel bad for everyone involved that had to like film this. And then like, this is the final result.
Especially because he cut a promo on the leopard beforehand.
Dude, he did, man. He's always just like multiple times throughout the movie. He's like, I'm Kraven. I'm the best hunter in the world. I'm going to hunt you down. Nobody can beat me. I'll see you later, Rhino. I'm coming for you, Rhino.
Yeah,
like,
this
why
Sunday,
is he talking like
steel
this?
cage.
Yeah.
I'm craving a victory.
I was gonna get around to the Kraven pun, Kraven a better movie or something, but we'll just get that out of the way.
Yeah. Do you think? Okay, If the movie had had better marketing, do you think White Castle should have released a Crave case that was just stickers of Kraven the Hunter all over it?
They could
Would
have.
that
I
have
was
helped?
also going to say, it definitely would have. Of course it would. But I was also going to say there's what is it, McDonald's that has a cravings menu? They could have had
Oh,
the
do they?
Cravens menu.
The Cravens
you know,
menu, and it'd be like
you know.
leopard, and it's like you
Leopard.
can't sell that. Leopard nuggets new at McDonald's.
It's not even the nuggets. It's like, it's like they just release a whole leopard into the restaurant and you have to like hunt it down and kill it yourself and eat it.
It's the real Craven experience.
Exactly. It's got to fit the theme. Actually, okay, sorry. To back up, I was going to say, I didn't look up the character, but from what I remember from the cartoon version, he does not have superpowers in that. He's just like a normal man who uses like animal traps and stuff. I could be wrong, but I
Yeah,
didn't
that
remember
sounds
him
right.
having...
He's not like he's comically strong and fast, but it's supposed to be because he's just so good.
Yes, but in this, he has superpowers that he gets in a very convoluted way because he gets attacked by a lion. Should I go through the whole story? Should I tell you what happens in Kraven?
I
Would
mean,
you
we
like
did
that?
this for Mordrid. Okay, off the bat, I'm going to say right now, this is not one of those things where the movie's so bad that you should go out and spend your time watching it because it's funny. Mordrid is boring. Kraven, from what I can tell, is boring. So I say we just go through the plot and you can rest easy knowing that you didn't miss anything.
Yes. So,
Should I just go through the plot?
what?
That's already such an insult to the movie, Just like, should I just tell you?
Do you just want to know what happened? So you don't have to watch this? So we can all just write this off. We can all just make this a tax write-off.
We can all just make this a tax write-off. And they'd be like, do you see Kraven? And you'd be like, all right, well, nobody asked that anyway. But
nobody's asking about that. That's a weird thing to say.
the IRS might come back and be like, hey, you can get a deduction if you watch Kraven.
They'd probably audit you. They'd be like, what is this? This isn't a real movie. Like,
Yeah. Is this a laundering scheme? Anyway, sorry. Yes, please tell me the entire plot of Kraven.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. One more thing. This happens in the middle, but this is again part of his promo thing. Like they do the whole thing, which gosh, there should be like a term for this somewhere. But it's like the thing they do in like the Arrow TV show, where they can't just call him like Green Arrow from the beginning. It's like everyone throughout the movie just calls him the Hunter, because I think in the comic books he's Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah, that's the full name.
Yeah, so they do the just classic thing where like, oh, did you hear about the Hunter? The Hunter's in the news, And then there's literally a scene at one point where another character is like, he's like, oh, so you're the Hunter. And he's like, I prefer Kraven with a K. And I'm like, shut the hell up. You did not just...
He says with a K?
Yes, that is the dialogue in the movie.
That is character assassination. How are you supposed to be cool? Like, he has to... There's a timeout corner, and Mordred's in it, and Kraven's on his way over, because that's awful.
It is. It really is. But it's kind of funny. I'm like, this is so dumb. I kind of like it.
That would have been the meme, actually. If people had seen the movie, I guarantee you it would have been, like, with a K. Like, would have been the whole,
Oh, yeah. Totally. Because it's ridiculous. It's a silly thing to ever say out loud.
And the bar for that has really moved a lot in recent years for what you can just confidently say out loud and not be
This is true.
seen as a big idiot.
Yeah.
With a K.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So I can trademark it later.
Yeah, exactly. For the
Charge
sequel.
royalties for other people to say it with a K.
That's his whole game plan. That's his superhero plan, is to sue people. So anyway, to get into what I was trying to say, the man has superpowers, right? That he gets because the beginning of the movie, there's a whole opening sequence where he like kills a guy in a prison, and that's just to be like, look at this guy, he can do all these things.
Look at him.
Look at him. Whatever. So that's like the opening sequence of the movie. And then we get to a flashback that goes on for like way too long, where it's like young Kraven and his brother and their dad, who's played by Russell Crowe. And he's just god awful in this movie.
Okay.
He just so you know, he's just terrible.
So just your average like 2010s and onward Russell Crowe performance then.
Yeah, literally not even trying at all. He's doing a Russian accent, which is he's doing it. It is there.
It's there. They didn't ask him to. He just showed up to set doing a Russian accent.
Yeah, they're like, oh shoot, I guess they're Russian now. All the characters, we got to change all their names to Russian names.
Okay, so he goes to see Russian Russell Crowe.
So Russell Crowe, he picks little baby Raven and his brother up from school in like a limo. You know, he's like rich, evil dad, and he's like, this was reminding me. Is it like an SNL bit? I think. Where you would used to say it sometimes, where it'd just be like, your dad's dead. It's like, do you remember that?
Wait, what? Your dad?
Or is this your dad's dead?
That's not the bit from Steel, right? Where he's like, her father's dead.
No, this is older than that. I don't know. This just was reminding me of, because the dialogue's just that blunt. Like, he just picks them up in this limo, and he's basically just like, your mom's dead, and they're like, oh, okay, and he's like, we're gonna go hunting now to like get over it, I guess. And they're like, okay, that doesn't sound fun, but whatever.
Oh, gosh. That does sound vaguely familiar, like Kraven lore, because he's also in the sequel to the PlayStation Spider-Man game, like the newer ones. So you fight Kraven, and I do recall there's something about that, like it's a family dynamics thing with him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone's always trying to make Kraven happen. What I was reading in the, production for this movie is that, like, there was like plans at several points for him to appear in previous Spider-Man projects that just never came to fruition. And at one point, like, he was going to be in Black Panther. Like, the Marvel Black Panther was going to have, like, Kraven in it. And it just always fell through until they made this movie.
I wouldn't have hated him in Black Panther. I wonder if it would have been, though, like, would he have been like what Andy Serkis's character ended up being?
I don't know. I think it was like he was gonna maybe fight Black Panther or something was part of the plan.
Maybe that would have been like Black Panther 2, because they ended up putting like Namor in there. I think he could have done a Kraven. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, the story though, like to get back to
sorry, we're getting kind of far away.
Back in what they're doing in this movie, like Russell Crowe takes them out to go, like him and his brother, to go hunting, and he says they're hunting a lion that has killed 3,000 people. Like, what? One lion killed 3,000? That doesn't make any sense. That's crazy. But that's what they're there for. And so anyway, what happens is this lion, like, at some point he attacks Kraven. And, like, he, like, attacks him and, like, carries him away. But, like, the lion is, like, bleeding because, like, one of the hunters, like, shot it. And so, like, the lion's blood, drips into one of the open wounds that Kraven, with a K, has. And mixes with his blood. And I'm like, okay, he gets his superpowers from this super lion or something. But then there's, like, another character who, like, we've barely seen at this point in the movie, she shows up because, like, her grandmother was, like, a mystic of some kind and gave her this, like, potion, and she, like, finds Kraven after the lion, like, leaves him there, and she, like, gives him this mystic potion, and, like, somehow the combination of this potion and the lion's blood is what gives him his, like, animal superpowers. So it's very convoluted.
That is convoluted. If it was already a magic lion, you could have just had it be magic lion's blood.
Right, but and then it's also like, then he has these like other powers that have nothing to do with a lion. Like sometimes he runs around on all fours and he has like super strength and durability and like speed and stuff like that. But he also has like eagle vision. Like he can like see really far away.
Oh, like Assassin's Creed.
I guess, but I'm like, what does that have to do with a lion? Like, it's like you just have random animal powers now, and he can like talk to animals, and like, it's just like, why'd you do the whole lion's blood thing? Like,
why lion unless it was like,
and the magic potion? Like, just do one or the other.
Ooh, you know what? We were talking about referencing things no one remembers. He's basically copying Brave Star.
Dude, okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because there is, at one point, Rhino, when he's described, because again, they're all just cutting like wrestling promos on each other the whole time. Like when Rhino is talking about him, he literally like goes into like that same way of speaking where he's like, he's got the speed of a lion and the strength of a puma or whatever.
Yes.
I'm just like,
oh my gosh.
He describes him the same way.
Brave Star was like in the same animation style, and I think it was out around the same time as the original like He-Man and She-Ra cartoons, like those like 80s Funimation cartoons. And we would sometimes stay up because they aired in this like late night block when we were growing up years later, but then they would always be ads for the other shows. And there was just this one 20-second Brave Star ad that was just burned into my brain. That was exactly that. It was like strength of a lion, speed of a puma. Like,
yeah,
I guess that's Kraven.
That's great. And that's exactly how, like, he even says it like that, like the same way that they would say it, like, on that commercial. And I'm like, okay, he's just doing that, I guess. Like, but that's what's, I guess, kind of fun. If anything in this movie is fun, it's kind of like the action sequences, because he's got like those superpowers that I would say like are sort of on the level of like a Captain America. Like, you know, where he's running around and like punching and kicking people, but he's got like just super strength, but he's not like the Hulk where he's like ripping buildings out of the ground or something. They do at one point like completely rip off that scene though, where Captain America is like holding onto the helicopter. Kraven's trying to stop a helicopter from like flying away from this like port. And I'm like, this is just, you're just doing the same thing. You can't just like copy the homework directly, Kraven. Like,
exactly. Just change a few things. Yeah, especially because like, don't try to put him on the level of Captain. Like, this is literally contrasting one of the most successful live-action Marvel character ventures with what is, by the numbers, the worst one ever.
You know, it's one of the worst ones, and it's also just for the time it came out. I mean, again, this came out December, like the very end of 2024. And it's just, everything about it is just the most, like, generic superhero stuff you've ever seen, you know? To the point where I'm like, nobody wants this now. Like, if you do superhero stuff now, it has to be subversive in some way or, like, something new and interesting in the genre. Because, you know, people have been talking about it. People have been talking about how tired they are of it for forever, which just goes to show you how long it's been around and been this kind of prominent like genre. And this just like, it literally does the thing, which I didn't even like consider this because like the whole time he's wearing like modern chic Kraven, you know, like his like costume throughout the movie. He has sort of like a costume.
He's a handsome Kraven, okay? He's, you know,
yes,
he's trendy.
Yeah, but he's got like this like vest thing on. He almost looks like the Prince of Persia a little bit.
Yep.
And so I'm like, whatever, this is just the character design they went with for this, you know, Kraven. But they literally do. The final scene of the movie, the final shot of the movie is him putting on like the vintage like Kraven vest that has like the lion's mane on it. And I was like, you gotta be kidding.
I
like...
despise that. That might have even come up this season already. That's my least favorite comic book movie trope of all time, is the convoluted, how do we get you into the corny original costume so that we can say it's dumb, or say nowadays it's not dumb, it's actually super cool.
Well, yeah, there's that, but then there's also I think there was like, I don't know how many people would be familiar with this, but I think the shorthand for this type of thing I've seen being referenced as like a surf monkey. I don't know if you've heard this before.
No.
It was like a famous like tweet or something, like something that went viral where somebody was basically describing this sort of like modern thing that they do with these types of movies, where they were like, if a movie came out in the 90s called Surf Monkey, the whole movie from beginning to end, you would see a monkey surfing. But if it came out now, it would be like, the whole movie would be like leading up to him getting his surfboard, and like he would only like surf in like the final scene of the movie, you know, like
that is pretty apt. Yeah. It's like, I think it made more sense. It works if the audience is already hooked when they get in the door. and you're teasing something so that you can hold their interest until a certain point and then kind of release all that built up anticipation. But if you're all the way down in the dumpster digging out Kraven the Hunter, like nobody cares enough. There's no super fans for Kraven where you can like release a teaser of the hooded jacket and be like, oh my goodness, I can't wait for that part. Like you have to lead with the interesting part if this audience is not already sold on the character.
Absolutely. And this might be the most absurd iteration of it I've ever seen because like the poster and the advertising, what little of it there is, shows him wearing the lion's mane, like classic Kraven look. So it's in the advertising, even though it's literally just the last scene of the movie. And it's so barely different from what he's already wearing throughout the rest of the movie that I'm like, well, who cares? This doesn't look any more or less absurd or unique than what you were already wearing. So like, What are we even doing? Like,
does it, in the context of the story, do they act like this matters to Kraven? Or is it literally just, oh, here's my other outfit?
They do. So the lion that like attacked him, that he kind of got his superpowers from, his dad like afterwards like went and like killed the lion, like had it hunted and killed, and then like gave it to Kraven as like a gift, and Kraven got all mad and he was like, oh, they should have killed you and put you up on the wall. And so then like yeah, that's the dialogue we're dealing with here. And so the end of the movie, I guess, is like, I don't even know what you're supposed to feel because like let's just skip all the way to the end.
We tried going through the story, not worthwhile. Let's just go all the way to the end.
Let's just go right to the end. The end of the movie is again so dumb, but like Kraven finds out that like his dad actually like betrayed him and like set him up so that the Rhino would go after him because the Rhino was one of his dad's like rivals in the criminal underground. And so like Kraven like confronts his dad about this, and it seems like he's gonna like kind of make peace with him and just be like move on with his life. But then as he's like walking away, because Kraven, they're doing their, he's the superhero, but he's based on a villain character, so they're trying to make him like this like cool anti-hero guy. But Kraven just like walks away and says some like one-liner, and then like a bear just runs out of the jungle and like kills his dad. And it's like, what?
Summoned a bear?
Not even, huh? Yeah, not even a lion. So I'm like, what? That's just a random bear that you called on.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but then the scene immediately after that, he like goes back to his old house that he was at with his dad, and his dad had like left him something, and he left him this like emotional note. And like, it was like, this is who you are. And then like what he pulls out of this case is like the lion that had attacked him. His dad had it turned into that vest. And then he like puts that on. And I'm like, you just had your dad killed by a random bear. And now you're like, I don't get what this is supposed to imply at all. that he gave you this gift.
Unless it's some stupid like alpha thing of like, his dad's proud that he killed him because it means he's a man.
Maybe that was the kind of rhetoric that his dad was spouting throughout the movie. He was like, you got to be a man or whatever. But like nothing thematic about that. Literally just a random bear. I was just like, that
a random bear.
Was so strange. Yeah.
Maybe he didn't even send the bear and just really successfully played it off. Like he was like, ha, yeah, bear, right where I was going next.
Yeah, maybe. And then it's like starts like running away slowly, like just
runs away crying. I spelled bear with a K.
Just like so silly. But yeah, this was the worst version of that like surf monkey type thing I've ever seen, because I'm like, this means nothing. You're not gonna get a sequel. It looks so similar to what you're already wearing that I can't stress that enough. Like, you could have just been wearing this from the beginning and it wouldn't have looked any more or less out of place. And that's how the movie ends. I mean, that's like the last shot of the movie is him putting that on. And I was just like, okay, if you say so.
Okay, so Jesus. So that's the climactic thing for the character of Kraven. As far as like action set piece, I assume we focus on him beating Rhino. Is that like the end of the third act?
Yes. Yes, and he beats Rhino by they're in like an open field. I think I want to say maybe somewhere in Africa. They don't think they specify exactly where they are. But they're in an open field. He's getting beat up by Rhino, and like there's like a car that got flipped over, and it has like some kind of like wire thing on the back, like some kind of like tow cable or something. And again, Kraven. I keep calling him Raven. Kraven with a K.
That's so Kraven.
That's so Kraven. Like summons like a horde of buffalo and like like wraps one end of the wire around Rhino and then like lassos one of the buffalo in the horde, and then they like pull Rhino away and like trample him, and that somehow beats him, even though like Rhino's whole thing throughout the movie is that he has this like unbreakable skin. So I was like, why did that work? But
why did that
whatever,
work?
I guess. Yeah.
I feel like the angle for that would be you'd have to like suffocate him or something. Maybe that was too violent.
No, yeah, there is a bit where it's like the Rhino, he has like a human form, but to like stay in his human form, he has to kind of like constantly be injecting himself with this like serum. So he has like a little like metal like cylinder hole in his abdomen that he like plugs the serum thing into. And like while Kraven is fighting him, he like can't do any damage to him because he has this unbreakable skin. But like then he notices that he has that little thing, and he like stabs him in there directly, and that like hurts Rhino. But then it's the Buffalo Stampede that really takes him out. So like,
okay, so you're saying that there's a small exhaust port, only a few meters wide, and that's how we have to beat the Rhino.
Exactly, but it'd be like if they like did that to the Death Star and then had it trampled,
run over by a bunch of buffalo. Yeah, that's what really saved the day.
Yeah.
I will say I was not picturing Rhino as like organic Rhino, because I think my visual reference is still when he pops in at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 as like a guy in a robot suit, and I was picturing a robot. I was picturing Paul Giamatti in a robot suit this whole time. So now I'm like, okay, this is an organic Rhino thing. Cool.
Yeah, right. And those are Sony Spider-Man movies that are like inexplicably unrelated to any of these other Sony. What is it? Sony Spider-Man universe movies. So it's just
that would have been the best pivot for them, because Tom Holland's Spider-Man has basically not been in any of these Sony Spider-Man movies. So if you made this like sixth one and then used this to reintroduce Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, that would have saved everything. People liked him when he came back to do No Way Home. So you could have just been like, whatever, this is his one, and then we'll just plug him back in here. Nobody cares. Nobody sees these anyway.
Well, so again, apparently, from what I was reading, before they went with the whole multiverse angle for that movie, Kraven was going to be the bad guy in that movie, in the No Way Home. So it's just like
interesting. I think by the time you reach Kraven, you're out of juice. That's just like any version of this. If you have hit the point in your rogues gallery where you're like, I don't know, Kraven, like just turn off the whole operation. And I think Sony actually did. So credit to them for that.
Yeah. Well, I think multiple of these movies have also tried to introduce the Sinister Six, which I believe he's a part of.
I mean, I think the roster of the Sinister Six changes all the time. So I assumed whatever 6 people they had would have been, their Sinister team.
Yeah, but no, you're right. I mean, this ended it. This was the end of the SSU for whatever it was, whatever it accomplished, other than it's embarrassing itself.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have done it. I'm sure if they made just enough money, they would have had Kraven, Morbius, Michael Keaton Falcon, who somehow crossed universes in the middle of it. Or not Falcon, Vulture, sorry. Then what would it be? Morbius, Kraven. Oh, Venom. Venom, of course, probably would have been like the lead.
Madam Web. What do we got?
Madam Web, maybe. I think Dakota Johnson really did not want to be in that movie, and it showed, so I don't know if they would have asked her to do it again.
Yeah.
But then we could have had an even higher budget, like $300 million Sony flop. I guess that's up to us. I think we're gonna have to we're going to have to map this out. We're going to have to put Kraven in. I think we can sneak Mordrid in because who's paying attention?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also like, just again, another thing that people have been like vocally like critical of is when they are like making these movies where they take a character who's a villain and then just be like, never mind, they're the hero now. Like, just because they're our POV character, like, now they're automatically a good guy. I think people were saying they did that with, like, the Cruella de Vil movie, like, with Emma Stone.
Oh, yeah, she was oppressed or something.
Right, right. And, like, this movie, like, their way of doing it is, like, it's R-rated, and they just, like, have the most embarrassing, like, they swear like teenagers trying to act cool, you know? Like, that's how the dialogue comes off.
Yep.
Like, so it's just like, it's like it hits every possible misstep. This like super late in the game superhero movie that just does the traditional like origin story formula, does the whole costume thing at the end, the surf monkey of it all, like takes the villain character and makes him a good guy. Like, it's just like you couldn't have like tripped over more things along the way while making this movie.
Not to mention the lack of leopard nuggets, as we discussed.
The leopard nuggets. Yeah, no, you got to make the nuggets yourself. That's part of the appeal of the Kraven's menu.
Kraven's menu, available nowhere for a limited time. All right, well, that does it for Kraven the Hunter 2024 and Dr. Mordrid 1992. We move now into final scores and wrap up. We're going to see whose blind movie pick for this episode was better, and thus who is the winner for tonight. Frank, I'll go first because I started with Dr. Mordrid. I said off the bat in that review, barely a movie. And I hold to that, and I think that's uncontestable, that this is...
uncontestable.
Barely a film. You cannot... It barely would have worked as a TV pilot. Like, nothing happens. They're so ill-confident in their material that they just stretch everything. The only things I'll say that maybe were not properly conveyed is that the performances are perfectly serviceable. Jeffrey Combs and Bryan Thompson, we both said, are like Star Trek alum, actors. And they know how to just deliver nonsense material in a kind of straightforward, like self-serious manner. So nobody's out here bombing, making things worse. Also, compared to Kraven, I think you would prefer watching Dr. Mordrid because it was shot in the 90s, and so they actually had to like light scenes. You know what I mean? Like it has,
sure, yeah.
It has shadows and a color palette and like set design, and those things had to be decided before they made the movie instead of after. So Mordrid has a nice kind of lived-in quality to it, whereas Kraven sounds very featureless and kind of like artificial. So, all of that said, I think Dr. Mordrid gets a 3 out of 10.
Okay. The dreaded 3. The dreaded Grifters 3.
The Grifters 3. I almost went lower because we've talked before about like what would it take, and one of the things we mentioned is like something that's not even really a movie. And Mordrid, it crept real close, but I will say that it was harmless, and so it can stay at a 3.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
All right, over to you.
Oh gosh. This is a tough decision. I feel like I got very little out of Kraven. I got very little to take away from it, but I wasn't like upset watching it. It was like, when you like eat junk food, right?
Oh yeah.
And then you're like halfway through and you're like, I really shouldn't be eating this, but I'm just like, I'm gonna finish,
Yeah,
like
I already made the bad decision. I'll just follow through.
Yeah, that's what, and it's like, and it doesn't even really taste that good. Sometimes this tastes really good, this junk food, but right, it's not even a good one today,
Yeah.
Like, what are we even doing here?
What do we even do?
That's
that's the
Kraven.
worst. That's when you get your like fast food takeout and then you're mostly just want something predictable and then they mess it up somehow and you're like, they put mayo on this and leopard.
And leopard, yeah, I didn't ask for leopard on this Cravings menu.
Specifically said no leopard.
It's just, again, it's a whole leopard just sitting on top of your patty.
Exactly. No, I'm following. I'm tracking. That is how Kraven came across, was a little treat that ended up not even being a good.
Yeah. But again, I didn't outright hate it. There have been movies that we've watched for the show where I'm like, oof, this is like upsetting. Man, so I don't know. Like I'm floating between two numbers, and I think I'm gonna give Kraven a 4. I
4?
almost gave it a 3, which we would have tied. Which I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Oh, we do not have we don't have a play for a tie. I don't know how we would
There's
handle
no
that.
protocol for that. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a 4 just because, like, whatever.
I'm impressed. I think we have been harsher than that to other films. Like, I gave Double Impact a 4 a long ways back, which was like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. And that one had a little bit going for it. It certainly sounds better than Kraven, but I will say it takes a lot to go all the way down to a 3.
It does. And I feel like, yeah, we're going to be a little inconsistent in this scoring sometimes, maybe a little change over time. But like you said, I just would be very hard pressed to give anything like lower than a 3, first of all.
We've done it once. we did it for Sphere.
Yeah, Sphere earned that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll get into that ones and zeros like at some point, I imagine.
Probably going to happen. Okay,
Yeah.
Kraven the Hunter gets a 4. That is an overperformance. Good on him.
Yeah, it's just junk food. Not good junk food. Just a bad leopard burger.
I like how it's a lion in the story. They keep stressing that it's a lion, but we both went completely in on leopard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Kraven's a 4. Mordrid's a 3. That means that, Frank, once again, I have won the episode. You did win last time, but I have won more episodes so far this season, widening the overall score totals a little bit. We do try to keep track of all of those scores out of 10 and kind of make it part of our season standings. So you've got a long way to go still, but we do have, I think, 2 more superhero episodes in us before we wrap this idea up. So we'll see. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. I could win them all. That could
You
happen.
could win them all. That would help.
Probably, right?
Okay, so because I won tonight's episode by a thin margin, I'll go first for our pick for next time. So Frank, I already had this one locked and loaded. I would like you to watch 1982's Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing?
Swamp Thing.
It sounds like you're saying Thwomp Thing, like the thing from Mario.
Close. Swamp Thing. Which is, I think, I did not double check this before we recorded. I think is technically a DC property.
Yeah, that sounds kind of familiar, actually. You might be right about that.
However, what's notable about 1982 Swamp Thing, A, it's billed as a straight-up horror film, which we don't really often cover. I imagine it will not be like actually that upsetting, which is good. Just kind of like an action horror, and it was directed by Wes Craven.
Oh, all right.
Who would go on to do the, God, I hope I'm saying the right one, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies?
He's done a lot. He's been involved with several like horror franchises. But yeah, I believe Nightmare on Elm Street.
He did Freddy Krueger's and he did Scream, the original one. But this, I think, predates all of those. This is like earlier in his career, Wes Craven.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Swamp Thing. Now, is Swamp Thing, is he the superhero in this story?
I think so. There was a sequel made in 1989, and the poster art for that one says, like, refers to him as a superhero.
All right. Counts. Fits
I could
the
have given you
criteria.
that one. That's arguably a more forgotten film, but why start with a sequel? We'll just do 1982 Swamp Thing.
Yeah. That's fair.
Okay, over to you. What would you like me to watch for next time?
You are gonna watch 2018's
Ooh,
Fast Color.
Fast Color. I gotta write this down, or I will forget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fast Color, which I think is like a movie. It's like a real movie.
Hold on. You tell me it's one of those beginning, middles, and ends type movies.
Yeah, I think it might be.
What is this? What is this character you're putting? I don't know. It feels like you're trying to like sell me like drugs under a bridge, but you're just like, oh, it's the real stuff. I got the real stuff this time.
Pretty good.
I've steered you wrong every single other time, but not this time.
Not last week. I won last week, so.
That's true. Okay, Fast Color. Anything you want to tell me in advance about Fast Color?
No.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that then. Okay, that's it. It's a total mystery. Stay tuned. No, we're done. We're not. We're just gonna move on.
Okay, all right.
Why not? Why not have a bit of mystery in our lives? So join us next time. Not in 2 weeks, but in 4 weeks, because we have a bonus in between. In 4 weeks' time, we are going to be talking about Swamp Thing, which I told you about in detail and explained, and Fast Color, which could be literally anything. It could even be Kraven the Hunter.
It could be. It might be.
He spells fast with a K.
That's just wrong. That's just incorrect. Where'd that bear come from?
Where'd that bear come from? Okay, well, that'll be it. Frank, I want to move quickly into thanking everybody for listening to tonight's episode of Meet Your Double Feature. If you enjoyed the episode tonight, please give us a like, give us a rating, a follow. We really appreciate that support. It helps us climb the charts and helps other people find the show. So please consider giving us that support if you enjoyed the program. Also, if you would like to follow the show on social media, you can find us on Instagram at Meet Your Double Feature or on Blue Sky at MYDFpod. Or if you would like the quick links to all of our socials as well as all of our new episodes, you can just visit our website at meetyourdoublefeature.com. And then Frank, as of recently, as of our guest episode, we can now officially say that your movie, Nate and Mariah in Venice, is available to rent or purchase through Amazon Prime Video, which is super cool.
That is super cool. So go check it out. It's pretty
Check it
good.
out. Frank made a movie. He co-produced. He was the cinematographer. It looks a heck of a lot better than Kraven the Hunter, I can tell you that.
Well, we can only hope. We
can
can only hope.
It has colors, framing, some degree of intentionality.
Yeah, no rhinos, unfortunately, or
No
leopards,
rhinos,
to my knowledge.
That is unfortunate. But shot entirely on location in Venice. It is a romantic drama written and directed by Austin Bulkey, who we had on the show last time, and co-produced by our very own Frank. Please go check it out. That is all of our links. Programming notes. One last thing. So our next episode after this, Frank, exciting news. By popular demand, we are bringing back our side series, Ranking Every Movie Ever Made. How do you think about that?
I like that one.
I like it too. I'm a part of it. I think it turned out pretty good.
It's good. I like it.
That was a surprise hit for us. I wanted to do that as sort of just an idea. If you didn't catch our first episode, what Frank and I are doing in this little side bonus series is we are pulling movies out of a hat that one or both of us has seen and ranking them on one complete list of every movie ever released from best to worst, which is an ongoing project that we will jump in with periodically. So that is what you will get from us in 2 weeks' time. And then 2 weeks following that, on Thursday, that's when we will hear about Swamp Thing and our mystery film.
Yeah, it's a mystery film now.
It's a mystery. Maybe not the movie, but what it is a mystery.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much again for joining us. Frank is going to close us out today by going over the plot details and summary of Fast Color. And as soon as he starts talking, I'm going to cut him off and play the outro music.
So in Spider Riders, they ride these like really big
Gotta
spiders.
go.
Coming up next, it's Swamp Thing, followed by Fast Color on Meet Your Double Feature.